How to get more sales for your online boutique. If you have an online boutique or online store of any kind and you are wondering how can you convert more sales on your website, guys, you have come to the right video. In just a short minute, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 powerful tips to convert more traffic. So I'm super excited to get into this topic with you guys. So if you don't know me, welcome to the channel. My name is Dallas Gordon. You can get all things from money making tips, marketing, and manifestation tips on this channel. So if that's your jam, I would love to have you stick around and join the Go Getter family. So let's get right into it. So guys, we work really hard. We market really hard to get traffic to our site. For some of us, we invest in paid traffic. So one of the worst things that could happen to you is when people land on your website that they get turned off by things and they leave. Okay, so you have wasted dollars, marketing dollars, or efforts, time and effort marketing your website and your products for people just to come to your website and leave. Instead of me teaching you how to drive more traffic to your website, of course, I can do other videos on how you can do that as well. And I have plenty on my channel. I think it's even more important to talk about converting the sales that you do get, because even if you drive tons of traffic to your website, if you don't have a website that is made or created or built to convert that traffic, guys, it's just not going to work. You're going to have a lot of wasted time, money, and effort getting the traffic to your website if you're not able to convert those sales once they get there. So I'm going to go ahead and go over some tips, some tweaks and changes that you can make to your website today to make it easier for people to stick around and shop, to make the experience more enjoyable for them, and to convert more sales, because that's what we all want, right? Okay, so number one is to test your own site as if you are a visitor. Okay, so a lot of people do not test their own process, and I find that this tip has helped many of my clients to convert sales successfully. You want to test your own process. You want to do a test checkout. You want to see how easy it is to find items, to add things to your cart. You would be surprised on what you would find, guys. I think sometimes we set up these sites and we don't go back to really test our process, and people are finding things on our websites that are huge turnoffs for them. And trust me, you only have a few moments to capture someone's attention when they come to your website. So when they come to your website, guys, you want to make sure that you're doing all that you can to get them to say, yes, I want to add this to the cart and I want to check out. So you want to go through your process from start to finish. You want to do a test purchase. I believe on Shopify, you can do a test purchase, in whatever platform that you are using, you should be able to also do a test purchase as well. So those test purchases and just testing your process is super important, because you'd be surprised on the little glitches and things that you will find on your site. Maybe there are certain areas where your site is running slow. So that's number one, is to test your own process. Number two, guys, is going to be to make a list of what you absolutely hate about shopping online at certain websites, okay, on certain websites. So if there are some things that really just irk you about the shopping process or the checkout process on certain websites, you want to make a list of what those things are. Make sure that you perfect those processes in your own online boutique or shop, okay? So that's super important. So like if you hate paying for shipping, you know your reasons why behind that. It's super important for you to make sure that you offer reasonable prices on shipping, or that you include shipping into your product price. It's just little things like that. If you really hate those things when you go and shop on websites, make sure that you have perfected and worked out those kinks on your own website. Number three is to remove your sold out items. One of the most frustrating things that I find when I'm checking out different online boutiques and stores is that it seems like the entire store is sold out. So let's just say you are a clothing boutique and you have a small, medium, and large. I feel like sometimes we don't want to go in and manage those sizes and just take them completely out. We're just waiting for more stocks to come in. Well, you would be better off keeping stuff up and changing the status to pre-sale or something and letting people go ahead and buy it and hold it, versus having sold out items all over your website. I'm telling you now, some of you guys are missing out on so many sales, because every time someone visits your website, Like everything is sold out. I think that that's one of the most frustrating things. So I try to be mindful, myself and my team with my websites, that we are frequently checking just to make sure that we don't have tons and tons and tons of sold out items. I think another thing that people think, or the reasoning behind doing this, is you don't want to feel like nothing's in your shop. Like if you only have like 5 things in stock, you don't want for somebody to be like, oh, she shouldn't even have half the stuff on her social media account. Well, I would rather you remove it and actually show people stuff that they can actually buy. Sometimes also when people have way too many decisions to choose from, they actually don't buy because they're not sure what to choose. So don't be afraid to just have a few items, but they're actually for sale and they can actually be purchased. Keep that in mind, because it's a true turnoff when someone does finally click through on the link on your social media and they're like, okay, what's this about? And then almost every single thing they're interested in is out of stock. Every size, every medium or small is out of stock. You want to manage those stocks and remove those items temporarily from your website to heighten, the buyer experience or the customer experience on your website. So number 4 is to make sure that your pop-ups actually do close down, and that you don't have so many pop-ups on your website flying out at people that they really can't focus on what you have for sale. I've even had to look at mine. Some pop-ups, guys, the little X to X out the pop-up, it's not obvious. You can't see it. So people have a hard time closing it on your website. And guess what they do? They don't email you to figure it out. They just leave. And you don't want that. So I would say this is where testing out your own process comes in, where you go to your website from a different device and you see what the process is like, what's coming up for you on mobile and on desktop, just to make sure that the experience is okay, up to par and stuff. Okay, so that's number 4. So number 5, images are everything. Images are everything. So I want you to go to some of the top retailers in the world. I want you to make a list of all the positives that you see about their images. I want you to make a list of the common things that you see across these websites. If that's white backgrounds, or if that's a certain type of model, or the images look a certain way, you may have to invest in your images. So as retailers, one of the things that you cannot cheap on is your photography. So be really, really careful with your backgrounds. There are backdrops and things like that you can purchase on Amazon. There's lighting that can be purchased on Amazon. There are groups out there on Facebook where photographers in your area are willing to exchange photos for exposure, for a mention. So there are ways to get around having limited funds for photography, but it's super important that you have tip-top photography. When people look at your items, they need to be able to see themselves with the item. And if they are seeing photos that are not up to par, and they can't see themselves in the stuff, or that they just don't like the fashion, or they don't like the way that the items are being put together, I think that you have to keep it real with yourself and do some changing if you really want to be successful as an online boutique. So that's number 5. Number 6, your product descriptions are so important. You need to make sure that they are detailed. There are times that I have left websites and not made a purchase, and I was right on the cusp of making a purchase. But the reason that I didn't, guys, is because I was like, what size is the model wearing? Because I'm trying to compare, what size she wears to what size I am. So if she can fit a medium, then I can fit a medium. There's a lot of things that go through the thought process when someone purchases things online, especially clothing and fashion items. People really like to touch and be able to try on that stuff. And they really, really hate when your return policy is terrible and they can't. That's another thing. That's just a bonus. That's not a number, but please make sure that you have a reasonable return policy, because if you don't, they're just going to go and shop with the bigger box stores like Nordstrom's, Amazon, places like that they're going to be able to return items that don't fit them. Don't allow a couple people who have abused your policy to change you completely and make the good people suffer for a couple of mishaps. Okay, so think about that. But your product descriptions need to be specific. Like, is there stretch in the material? How much stretch is there? How tall is the model? Is there a sizing chart? These are all the things that questions that are going through, especially a woman's mind when they shop. So just keep that in mind. Oh, and don't forget, before I move on, with your product descriptions, how quickly are you going to be able to ship things out? be sure to set the expectation, because a lot of people don't buy from you because they think that it's from China, or they think that they're going to have to wait for 7 weeks to get their stuff. And people just don't really want to do that anymore. But at least be upfront about what the shipping policy is. Number 7, your collections need to be organized. Break down what's for sale. I see a lot of people naming collections like really cutesy names, but people don't really know what that is, so it confuses them and they don't understand how to navigate your store. So the more detailed you are and the more sectioned out your store is, the more that you can increase sales, because people like to move fast. They want to get to the shoes. They need to be able to get to the shoes. They need to be able to sort through different types of shoes. And any other collections that you have, make sure that they're organized properly so that people can quickly get to where they want to be and make decisions. Remember, you want to make shopping convenient for people. They don't want to be inconvenient shopping online, because they will not stay and they will leave. Okay, so number 8, are your discounts visible? I always like to use a little black bar at the top of my website to display discounts. This way, no matter what page they're on, they know what's for sale. So use that little promotion bar at the top of your website. If you don't have one, or if you don't have some of the stuff I'm talking about, I have a guide called Convert Like Crazy. I'll be sure to link it below. I believe for under $20, you can get the guide digitally, or you can get it mailed to your house as well. And you can work through this guide to help you to boost your conversions on your website. So if you're looking for like a workbook or a guide to work through either digitally or physically, that is the book for you. So I'll be sure to link it below. Number 9, are your contact options visible? Is it too hard for them to have to figure out how to contact you? I suggest you putting up a little chat bubble that connects to your Facebook Messenger. Even if you have a bot that's communicating with them, they need to know that they can get in touch with you as soon as possible. If it's not a phone number, make sure that your contact options are visible, because people want to know that you're a real company and you're just not a fly-by-night website. Remember, the reality is, guys, everybody is up, especially during the pandemic and all, trying to have a business, and everybody is not legit and everybody is not who they say they are. So people have gotten really hip to detecting, fraud and stuff like that. And they're very, very skeptical. They're very skeptical about buying from a lot of websites. So make it easy for them by demonstrating that they can trust you on your website. And the last one, guys, is social proof. If you at all can have reviews from your Instagram feed, or allow them to shop your Instagram feed, or have a feed where they can see that there are other people buying and purchasing your products and that are happy with your products, that is super awesome. So be sure to show some sort of social proof on your website, guys. So those are the 10 tips. Don't forget about the Convert Like Crazy guide that you can check out in the comments. I would love for you to stick around and join the Go Getter tribe. If you want more videos like this, don't forget, I would love to have you here. Be sure to stick around so you won't miss anything. Don't forget that whatever you put your hands to shall prosper if you believe. Have a blessed day, and thank you so much for stopping by and spending this time with me.